Welcome to The Explainer. So, what if I told you that your body was basically an electrical powerhouse, one capable of influencing the world and the people around you? Today, we're going to dive into the source material of a vintage theory that claimed exactly that, and we'll explore the lost art of focusing that power, something called mesmerism. Okay, so where do we even start? Well, a really fascinating text from the early 20th century kicks things off with this simple question, which you can see right here in the original Hindi. What is mesmerism? But, to really get the answer, the theory says we first have to look inward. And right away, the source material hits us with this really radical idea. What if the human body isn't just flesh and bone? What if it's not some simple biological machine, but actually a self-sustaining electrical powerhouse? So here's the core argument. The human body is this self-contained, conscious machine, and it has its own internal power plant. It's not just running on food and water, no. It's generating an incredible amount of raw, invisible energy. And get this, to give you a sense of scale, the text makes this absolutely stunning claim. The amount of raw electrical energy needed to run just one human body for its day-to-day functions is enough to power 4 large industrial mills. Just think about that for a second. So if you think about it that way, death isn't really a failure of the machine itself. I mean, the organs and the limbs, they're all still there. It's just the moment the internal power plant shuts down and the electric current stops, the machine is intact, but the power's gone. Okay, so if we're all walking around with this immense power plant inside of us, where does all that energy actually go? How is it used? Well, the source proposes this really neat, structured model for how all this power is distributed. According to this theory, our energy gets split 3 ways. A third of it is for running our internal machinery, keeping us alive. Another third is for interacting with the world, seeing, hearing, reacting to stuff. And that final third, that's for projecting our influence outward. And this is such a great way to put it. This energy isn't just one big stream. Instead, you should picture it like a power station with countless invisible wires spreading out from you, and each one is carrying a current to do all the different things we do in life, both consciously and unconsciously. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Is there any proof of this? Where's the evidence? Well, the author claims it's literally all around us, in nature and even in our own inventions. Apparently, we've been managing this energy for centuries without even realizing it. For instance, the text suggests that nature gave animals like horses and cows hooves, which are made of a non-conductive material, to insulate them from the Earth's electrical pull. And humans, seeing how well that worked, went and invented shoes and sandals to do the exact same thing for themselves. And it doesn't stop there. This idea, according to the source, extends to all sorts of other common items. Things like wearing silk clothes, using animal hides, or even just carrying a wooden walking stick. They're all described as these ancient methods of insulation designed to preserve our internal electrical charge. All right, so we've got this internal electricity. We're supposedly insulating ourselves from the ground. But how does it actually show up in our day-to-day lives? Well, the text claims it manifests as 2 totally distinct forces in all of our social interactions, 2 fundamental currents that basically govern how we relate to each other. First up, there's attraction. That's the invisible current that pulls you toward a person or thing. And then you've got its opposite, repulsion, the force that pushes you away, the one that creates that feeling of distance, anxiety, and just this urge to back off. And the text asks us to really think about that physical feeling of repulsion. When you're faced with someone who's really angry or intimidating, that trembling in your legs or that feeling like you can't speak clearly, well, that's framed as a direct physical reaction to their repulsive electrical current just overpowering yours. Now, on the flip side, the text frames attraction in this really interesting way, as a completely involuntary electrical pull. It argues that when you feel drawn to someone you find beautiful, it's not just a psychological thing. It's a literal physical force that's acting on you. But it's not just about physical attraction. It goes way deeper than that. Why do we follow a leader or get convinced by a salesperson, even when we're a little skeptical? From this perspective, it's all just the game of the attraction current, influencing our decisions on a totally subconscious level. Okay, so here's the crucial point. All of those examples, the attraction, the repulsion, that's our energy just scattered and running on autopilot. It's all those innumerable wires firing off in every direction. And now, with that foundation, we can finally get to the heart of it all. We can finally define mesmerism. So mesmerism is presented as the art of taking all those disorganized wires of energy and intentionally focusing them into a single powerful current. It's kind of like taking the light from a bunch of small light bulbs and focusing it into one powerful laser beam. You're just uniting your scattered forces to achieve a specific, extraordinary result. And what that means is, these so-called miracles or wonders of mesmerism, they're not supernatural at all. According to this text, there's simply a concentrated use of a force that we all have and that we all use unconsciously every single day. The surprise just comes from seeing that everyday energy focused with real intent. And so this explainer leaves us with a pretty provocative thought. If this energy is real, if we are all constantly sending out these currents of attraction and repulsion, then what are you broadcasting into the world? Are you pulling people closer or are you pushing them away?